With conviction, man. You're talking directly to God. I praise you, Lord Tetsu.
Do you ever go about your life being an ignorant little rat, doing important things like decorating virtual houses, minding your gosh darn business when all of a sudden, dude, remember Sudeki?
Prepare to die!
I'll blow your damned head up!
I'm sure it might be a different game for you, but I assume that experience is universal. This was me last year when I was putting together a small list of games to review. Whether it would make the cut is another thing entirely. I've made 2 lists that have been lost to the Google Docs void. My tastes and interests have shifted so rapidly in the last couple of years, it's nuts. Don't start a YouTube channel, people. You might learn something about yourself. Ugh, scary. After my most recent projects, one of which will not be named, I'm in dire need of some indulgence. A vacation of sorts. And what better than the stupid tastes of a teenager? I'll give you 3 guesses why I picked up this game at a HMV of all places, alongside a copy of Spellforce. There's just some mysteries we as humans can never solve. Anyway.
Of the gods and demigods created from the void, Tetsu heir to the realm of Omnium.
This is a bold way to start. It's a great style. Shadow puppets are severely underused in video games. I can't think of any other right now. Maybe a point and click, perhaps? This intro tells a concise origin story that flows really well, and those with a keen ear for doctors might be able to pick out who it is.
At first, the brothers celebrated and shared their world in faith, but then the dark grew powerful and love was laid to waste.
If you're gonna have this performance-style opening, you can't really go wrong with Tom Baker. This is not his only role he has. In-game playing was essentially God. And the weirdest thing is, Baker is uncredited. Most of the voice cast is for some reason. This game spent a little time in limbo as a Dreamcast game, so that makes a little sense, I guess. Still though, I can't imagine finishing Oblivion and seeing The Emperor, voiced by some guy, who cares?
You motherfuckers are gonna kill all my living!
Before we get into the main course, I need to touch on the Steam port. Sudeki was originally on Xbox and PC in the 2000s, though at some point it got a Steam release much later. The fact that it plays out the box with no issues is a miracle for something of that era, but it's definitely not perfect. At first you'll have tiny issues that are just odd. Tal vibrating at the very idea of hunting things. Ailish doing a funny SFM bit. I question if this port/re-release was tested past the opening, because audio issues become more prevalent later. One area has a howling wind effect so loud it blows out my ears. Holy hell, it sounds like every Call of Duty lobby played at once! Ah! Your mileage may vary. All I know is... Camera, can you chill the fuck out? That's why the game is running at 720p. It does allegedly support higher resolutions, but I'm not going to chance it with all the little graphical problems I had. We also lost some effects over the years. The OG Xbox version had some Morrowind fog in places, and I gotta say, having it be PC clean does not have the same vibe as OG. With that, we're all caught up. Let's go. The game opens up in 240p, remember, a brickbox. It's a nice sweeping shot of the town that ends outside Tal's window, our protagonist. Oh no, he's late for anime school! Ah no!
Late again, Tal! I haven't the time to wait around for you. You're supposed to be a soldier. Now listen up!
As you can hear from the bumbling music, the tone of this game is probably pretty light. After a quick combat tutorial, we are let loose on the gates of Illumina. Ah, wonderful. The moment I'm given any freedom, the first natural thing to do in an RPG is to interrogate everyone. Play hide and seek with the kids, maybe introduce myself to the capitalist duck.
Welcome to K-Mode. No kids, no smoking, no drinking, no touching, and no credit! Now, how may I help you?
How wholesome. And just looking at the sky, it all looks very... Hey, does anyone think the moon is closer than usual? The dark armies of Ecloria are invading. Take these 2 soldiers that are a video away from retirement and go fight. On it, boss. Holy hell, I got exploded into jibs! Oh, man, the atmosphere sure has gotten more dire all of a sudden. Everything's become purple. Purple is never a good color. Wait, is that Jason behind the tree? Well, they lasted long. Once these enemies are defeated, we can start talking about the basics of combat. Oh, I don't think this will be a happy game after all. Blink and you miss it, like I did for many years. However, if you stop to smell the roses, that's the wrong analogy. This game's tone dives into the twisted. This stuff is fucked up to the point I'm spoiled for choice. And it doesn't stop at the humans. Somebody modeled a gruesome scene with an animal, and I have to blur it both for YouTube and out of basic human kindness. All while the ambience is keeping everything heavy. And again, if you're here for the fun times, you might not even register any of it. Wow, cool block pushing puzzle. Otherwise, prepare to get traumatized. That is until the boss ogre explodes on the screen. What cruelty will he inflict on me? I'm sorry, I was expecting fear and hunger, but we swerved into Lost Kingdoms for a second there. Thank God, he needed to die.
Awaken my dormant soul. I have need of your strength.
That ogre came from the local town. I really hope it's okay. Oh, thank Tetsu, everything is fine. And very pretty. Oh, hello, upbeat guitar. How are you? It's here we participate in town shenanigans, talk to friendly people, have a meet cute with the princess.
Excuse me, Your Highness?
Oh, hello. General Arlo's son, Tal, right? Call me Ailish.
Yes, Your Highness. Thank goodness you're...
Did the last half hour not happen? Tal escorts her back to the castle, and on the way, everything is clean and shiny. Blood and whole bodies vanish. What gruesome horrors! Nah, man, more lovely guitar and beautiful terrain. I gotta say, the art direction is solid. At least for the outside locations. A bright and colorful might be played out in our current game and ecosystem, but when we look back, it's always the stylized games that hold up the best. It's not immaculate. Go looking for problems and you'll find them in seconds. In general, though, it really stands out. I think if this game ever got a remaster, it's not out the question. Bait and Cait got a remaster, and that has like 10 reviews. Add in some bloom, ambient occlusion, and a few more modern techniques, and this stuff would stand the test of time once more. The pastel roads of Illumina. The crystal's blue skies painted over the planet's ring system. I don't know who decided on that detail, but damn is there a striking visual. Rolling hills dotted with windmills. Bee farms that hide pools of blood. I can still hear the soldiers crying out in pain. I'll joke about the Whiplash tone all day, because it's wielded with the grace of a sledgehammer.
Oh. My apologies, ma'am.
Ah, you clumsy ox. Watch your step.
Whoa.
So you're a born survivor, aren't you?
I mean to say, you survived when Private Abraham didn't. You survived when Officer Brashhill didn't. And of course, you survived when your brother didn't!
Have you come to trade? Lay your skin on me. I can't get enough.
Pirates will drink blood from your eyes!
I wish the tone was more carefully used, because it can hit you out of nowhere and remind you that everything is being solved with violence. You're minding your own business, helping the Shadani, and you find the bisected corpses of those who went in before you. It's harrowing.
These drawings are strange. They're of some sort of mermaid.
This one looks pretty good to me.
Haha, men sure do like booba. I do appreciate Sudeki trying to go for the more pseudo-open world. Back in the 6th gen, we had an industry-wide push to create more quote-unquote immersive worlds, removing loading screens or at least presenting them as an in-universe transit. Everyone loves to bring up Jak and Daxter, for good reason. The experience of traveling from the starting room all the way to the final boss is supremely cool. My go-to example is always Metroid Prime. Once you've loaded a save, the game tries its best never to drop the illusion that this is a living, breathing world. Rooms segmented with doors, even the elevators are glorified please waits. So I welcome it whenever any game tries this approach. It doesn't stick the landing all the time. Some of these dungeons could do with some set dressing if we're going with no loading times. They're a tad barren. Something that Prime really excelled at. Outside though, I really like these vistas. Cherry blossom roads, expansive savannas. It leads to less time checking the world map every 30 seconds, desperately trying to figure out where I am. Instead, I can reliably look at the landmarks. Oh hey, the Royal Cemetery. Brightwater is just around the corner. In a longer game, these picnic trips would drag down the pace. I think unless you opt into side questing, you never go down them more than once. Outside of the main path, of course. Which, thankfully, is really easy to figure out when the game wants to railroad you. These moments line up with you having a full party, signaling now this is the time to follow the breadcrumbs. Or heard cheap? I'm not going to tell you what to do with your spare time, weirdo. Oh great and handsome main character, please hear my plea. The cargo hit a storm and my copy of Black Lagoon on DVD washed up at the beach infested with crabs. What are the odds it's actually infested with crabs? Huh, go figure. It's about time we fought where we stand, like true anime warriors. We don't need an encyclopedia for Sudeki's combat system. No fancy words like nuance or think. Every character has 2 attack buttons, a block, a dodge, and a...
Get this guy off me!
Run up to the bad guys and start mashing buttons. Wait, maybe this game has at least one depth. As you hit one of the attack buttons, you can follow up with either attack, creating a combo. Each combination requires a small amount of timing. Hit that button too early and you do shit for damage. Too late? Well, you just don't attack. Dummy. I wouldn't worry about the difficulty of combos. Give yourself an hour and you will intuit what the game is asking of you. Add the fact that not every combination is made equal. Like a dash attack that brings you closer to the enemy you were already shish kebabbing. And the possible 8 chains turns into 4 that you'll cycle through as needed. Outside of enemies' attack patterns and target priority, that is all the basic stuff covered. Next, skill strikes.
I'll stain the floor with your insides.
Pop one of these and time slows down. If it is an attack, an indicator shows up, leaving 0 ambiguity about where it hits. Or maybe you can become the indicator. In a great move by the devs, every character has a stat buffing skill you can unlock, that you will miss the moment they leave your party. You don't need Tal's Iron Warrior all the time, but a raw 70% mitigation is certainly overpowered. That's not increasing our defense neither, because we don't have defense. The RPG part of this action game is very light. All combat cares about is your health and damage. When the game puts the screen in front of me full of options and possibilities, I think it's cute. Anyway, more damage please. That's not to say the others are useless. Essence makes your skills better. I just prefer the direct route. I also have a big secret to share with you. The footage I've been showing is not telling you the whole picture. Some of you might have already caught on. Sudeki is an action RPG. This is an undeniable truth. It is also a shooter. I've always been fascinated by titles that try to blend one genre with another. You thought that Spellforce mention was just for the booba, huh? Surprise! Having a game just become something else is so alluring. There are simple and efficient ways to combine them to keep both halves fresh. I'm drawn to the crazy takes that push what a genre could be in the first place. The biggest issue with that is it's rare that they become a perfect whole, tending to have malformed or auxiliary chunks that you ignore, if you're lucky. So when it comes to Sudeki, it's played very safe. God damn, is it still stupid fun. So first off, the range characters, Ailish and Elko, busted, 100%. I think Elko wins a power contest, but that's like comparing two brands of bombs. Nothing will be left in the crater. Each starts with a pistol analog, weak, very pew-pew. Stick some life or mana steel on them as a reliable backup. Second, characters can switch their weapons in combat. For the melee, this is situational at best, since every weapon has the same moveset. Maybe you could open the fight with a poison sword before pulling out something deadlier, for example. The ranged, on the other hand, have a wealth of options. Shock staves, blunderbuss, rocket staff. Whoever thought it was a good idea to give them both railguns is criminally insane. These things are the strongest you'll find, have crazy damage upgrades, and can knock enemies down. Whoever you're not controlling gets what looks like a 50% damage nerf, which sucks, by the way. However, I think it was the right band-aid solution. These motherfuckers are ruthless. Third, you have FPS movement. These arenas are small and cramped enough that you can't circle strafe. Won't stop you from backpedaling them to death. Again, there seems to be a movement nerf. You move way faster going forwards than in any direction, but remember, knockdown. Add on top that ranged enemies are far and few between, and you have full reign on the battlefield. Tetsu, help them if a boss dares to lock onto you. If there's a downside, it would be because of that unwillingness to commit to the FPS side. There's never a need to aim the character up or down, outside of one boss fight, I think. Everything needs to be in reach of the melees after all. It could be a blessing in disguise. I can imagine a version of this game that required shooting a weak point of an enemy just to make it vulnerable to everyone. It could have been super annoying. In the form we have, it's just dumb fun, nothing more. Yeah, no, the music isn't too inspiring either. At least, for the battles. They're good for conveying the theme or the peril that you're currently in, but otherwise, I would be hard-pressed to remember most of them. Well, apart from one, I think one is really good. I'll talk about that later. The battle music is adaptive, which surprised the hell out of me, and so is most of the soundtrack. But when you're in the field, it is the most unadaptive adaptive soundtrack you've ever heard. What does that mean? Good question. Let's use Coral Reef as an example of a good adaptive soundtrack. You arrive at this ghost town, devoid of all life that you can see. And other games, you would probably hear something scary or spooky, but in Sudeki, it's weirdly hopeful. And as you progress further and further on, seeing people, more instruments join the chorus. Until you get to the mayor's house where the dance beat and vocal samples come out? It's weirdly optimistic for that area, and I love it. This is all what you expect from adaptive music, right? What if these tracks were random? Or at least, that's how it feels. Leaving Brightwater has silence as you walk down this lonely road. Then, it turns into a low mix. Straight into a medium mix on the beach. Complete silence. Then it just bursts into all the instruments. Low mix again. It has no rhyme or reason, nor is it spread evenly. It's so weird. What you do here is usually quite nice. I don't want to spend too long on the music. Whenever the guitar takes a break, I feel like it loses its identity. So why don't we quickly just play a few of my favorites? Are you ready for the most backhanded compliment? These towns have too much stuff in them. If you start exploring, you will find lots of people to talk to, chests, boxes, more chests, urns, bell puzzles, climbing spots, more boxes. It's always monetarily rewarding to check every nook and cranny. However, it's really fulfilling or interesting. Let me lead with the best and maybe only example of a unique story. Everyone in Brightwater has a "get me a thing that washed up" quest. The monetary reward is huge, and it informs you on who these people are. Miko ordered an oil painting. She says it's for herself, but given that her husband runs the inn, she might end up displaying it there just to boost his business. Sherry wants seeds to plant in the church's cemetery. She must tend to it, being the only NPC that wanders to that area. Get this man his suspenders and you can offer to buy him a drink. Oblige him, and he offers you his house key to go look at his treasure. Poke around, ignoring the obvious chests, and we find a receipt for someone named Cooney. Odd. Is this a brother, friend, lover? Who knows? I do know that his hatchet is stuck in a tree on the outskirts of town. Cooney himself is nowhere to be found. It's weird that nobody has removed or even stolen the hatchet. If we open up the key items, we can see that this is a receipt for the inn. So, we turn it in, which opens more questions.
Hey, this is old Cooney's receipt. It's not strictly legal, mind you, but I suppose he won't need this where he is.
Where he is? That sounds like past tense. Maybe... Oh, I just stole items from the dead. Well then. This unmarked story is really fun to discover by yourself, and as far as I can see, it's the only quest that's ambitious at all. From this point forward, you will do side quests to get loot. And you want loot for upgrades, so you do side quests. Nothing interesting will be said. Fetch me 5 spider parts. I want 3 wolf pelts.
I like the furry side of the business, but some traders like scales. Keep your eye out for Hambos. He likes the uncompromising feel of scales and will pay a good price.
These people are just generally a bit dull. No gossip, no friction. It's the Dragon Quarter problem all over again. I think that's why Kamo sticks out so much. The duck I mentioned like hours ago.
Welcome to K-Mo's, where the faceless automation of modern life is relaxed by that personal touch. Oh, it's you.
He hates children, ruthless in his business, and somehow appears everywhere.
Come back again soon. Preferably with more florins, you cheapskate.
He's revealed to be traveling through dimensions to create a one-duck monopoly. He has this great power in his hands, and he chooses to be a filthy rich prick. Life goals, I guess. It might also be the result of the villains taking a while to enter the scene. The gang travels to the realm of shadows, a holy place of the Shidani. They tried to turn this place into a paradise, and failed. Hence, the... This pike is missing a head? No!
Welcome to K-Mo's.
Then, right after we go to the dizzying heights of Transentia, and just as the portal flickers on to send us into the fractured half of our own world, now the bad guy shows his hand. I want to talk about some of these people, and the last 3 hours-ish? It won't take long. However, in case you care enough to play this game, I will give you a courtesy stamp. Here you go. Oh god, okay, so we're talking about Talos, right? God, is this guy so 2000 stupid cool. Something a teenager would doodle in his notebook. His name is Talos. His left hand is a scythe blade with an optional claw hand. He lives in an abandoned tower in the castle, and all the windows are boarded up listening to MCR. His hair is green and has a cool mask, and he uses his telescope to spy on the...
Hey Derek, I just unlocked a secret character in Smash Brothers! His name is Roy, and he's got like a fire sword. It's so rad, you wanna play together?
Get out of my room, butt lord. He also killed his shit-hammer brother, and his mother too, because she was too busy to drive him to HMV. He just wanted to buy a gift for Sandra, maybe one day she'll like me. It's here in the other half of our world we meet the shadows of our cast. And I can't get over Cazelle. Look at this man. He looks like someone else's OC of the main character. Like a Kingdom Hearts fan character. Who are you? My name is Zaltar. With an X. And by this point, once you've met them, you're so close to the end. I love the way the game tries to wrap up the plot. We should attack them before bad things happen. No, we could destroy the machines. Oh, by the way, Illumina, I guess I didn't talk about this plot-wise, huh? Illumina is sucking all the light out of the other half to summon an evil demon so the queen could become immortal by using Talos as a body to host the evil bad guy. No awards for guessing how that turns out. Yeah, so that's the machines, by the way. Just maybe they can still be talked down from being evil. Shut up, you fools. It's clearly too late for more plot. Meet me outside for the final boss. And that all consists of a one-on-one fight. The game spouts unity. The age of unity is coming. We will need to work together. Also, only one of you can fight the last boss. They told me, but I didn't think it was going to be that stupid. Oh, and speaking of the end, I do like how Talos has his own spirit strikes. They're not very useful, but hey, it's cool to see the consistency. At this point, they just want the game wrapped up. We hardly get any fanfare once he's defeated. Tal shoots his sword laser at him, a 30-second shadow puppet cutscene, and bam, credits. Normally I would sit here and criticize it, but like, the last 3 hours everything happens. There's been like minor hints and like vague like, ooh, maybe they're evil, until one guy chops off someone else's head. It's all build up, no payoff, like I said, a teenager story. When I'm looking for assets to use as thumbnail material, and making terrible decisions, okay, lower, keep going, a bit further, fantastic, this will get me all the viewers. Oh, fuck, no, I'm much more selective these days. I assure you I'm trying not to make every thumbnail an anime woman. It's unbelievable this has happened like 6 times in a row, and the worst part is, it's gonna happen again this one, I can tell you that. I haven't even made the thumbnail yet, and I can tell you it is. And the Parasite Eve 2 one's gonna have an anime woman on the front. I'm not doing it on purpose, I promise. I do try to find art that's less known or looks aesthetically pleasing to me. Using the box art is a recipe to look like everyone else. Sometimes I use screenshots, like Shadow Hearts, though I do go digging. And as my search deepened for Sudeki, I found a consistent thread. An appreciation for a part of Sudeki that was universal. New Brightwater. Looking up screenshots on the Steam page community, or browsing through fan-submitted banner art, Brightwater is always within reach, and I get it. You may have noticed that a lot of this video was spent on talking about that area because it is the best thing about the game. It's a nostalgic view into days gone by. A perfect time capsule of what games hubs looked like before the open world crept further and further in. A space designed for a small amount of gameplay that captivated people. Whenever I tried to remember the game, I was guilty of the same reification. It's not just imagination too. It's where the game becomes more mechanically interesting, with Ailish bringing her own first-person gimmicks, a spike in music quality, and a blacksmith beckoning you to look at the upgrade system. Do I think the rest of the game matches this shining example? Good lord, no! Unprepared players get hit by a difficulty spike in the Shadow Realm, and after that the imperfections of the PC port start to mount. Do I recommend it? It is only £5. I apparently got on sale, so it does go even cheaper than that. For that price, come join us in New Brightwater, and appreciate the artistry of old. It might be cobbled together, features an overpowered gameplay style, its shine fading around the edges, it's still a beacon of genuine brilliance. Okay fine, it's mid, but I like it, okay? God damn it if we can't have an artsy outro anymore. I gotta go fix my thumbnail. You don't understand how much time and energy I spend on these. Back in my day, we used to watch 15-minute reviews and we were happy about it. And they were filled with knob jokes and screaming. We loved it. Maybe you should lower your standards a bit.